Is there something shaking your foundation? Is there something stirring in your soul? Is there something?
I am D. Marie Lafortune. I'm 60 years old. Oh, God. And I've been busking. I've had 2 periods of busking. I busked years and years ago when Yorkville was still Yorkville, because I grew up in that area. I went to Jesse Ketchum. And then I stopped. And then I started busking again about 8 years ago. On the subway, I guess 8 years ago, but before the subway, I was on the street. I have to practice. I might as well practice with an audience, even if it's movable. It's really different playing in the subways than it is playing a concert, because I do play some very major concerts in the summer. I do the Christian, well, the social justice, the radical discipleship Christian music festival. It's not all Christian though, it's just radical discipleship. Lights in Asphalt River. I have to do security, public relations, and music when I'm in the subway. When I'm doing the concert, that's all done for me, and it's microphones too. So it's easier on the voice as well. The thing is this one person a day will make my day on the subway. One person will stop and say, oh, wow, that song. Somebody actually said, I was going to kill myself tonight, but I stopped and listened to you and I've changed my mind. And it's like, whoa, that's like pretty heavy stuff. We have been offered in return an airless Babylon. My story is, I was adopted out. I was one of the stolen children from the 50s. I was afraid of leaving home, because if home was the safe place, what is the real world really going to be like? Because I was scared at home, but I didn't have a place to run away from. I didn't have purchase because I didn't know who I was or where I came from. And so it's like, people say, oh, I had a lousy family, so my life is no different than yours. Yeah, but you know what you're running away from. My story is, it's like pushing off in clouds. There's nothing to push off. And I was always had over my head the threat that I would be, we'll send you back. And lo and behold, when I got some records, the people that adopted me, they had adopted somebody else before me and they didn't like her and they sent her back. So I had that fear. There are faces from the past you cannot wipe away. I'm adopted. I never knew my mother. She killed herself before I was allowed to have my records. My grandmother died while I was on a waiting list. I hope to talk with my father before he dies. I know who he is. So it's a hole. There's a hole in me. I have a lot of depression because of it. So what music has been, it's been a savior. There was a point just after I found out my mother was dead where I couldn't listen to music. I stopped listening to music for about 5 years. I couldn't. I would end up a mess. And I couldn't let all of that come out all at once that way. It was just too dangerous. Now music is important to me. It's like a lot of my life, not just music. I'd overachieve to get approval, and I get really good and very close to the top of my field, and I still have that hole in me, so I'd crash. And now I'm 60 and I'm broke because I used all my resources doing a court case. This is supplementing what little income I have. It's like, thank you, ma'am. I don't want my life to be a stinking tragedy. And when I play music, I don't think of anything. I just play music. And that, I guess that's the big important thing. Even when I'm doing stuff that I know inside out, when I'm doing it, I don't think of other things. When the lights are turned down, I try to busk a couple of times a week on the subway. And when it's warm, I really like to busk outside. And when I'm not busking, I have my cats, I do photography, and I'm involved in a lot of social justice stuff, and I teach at Centennial College. I always wanted to be a teacher. My teachers were like really important to me. And so now I'm teaching and becoming a really good teacher. I haven't done that one in a while, gee whiz. I'm teaching global citizenship from social analysis to social action. It's basically on critical thinking. It's about understanding how they came into a world in which there's already structures and stratus and status and all those things already exist. And they have to, that they take away something about who they are, how their values have been, how their worldview has been shaped by the media, by their family, by their peer group, by their schools, by their churches, that they understand that there's a social construction aspect that is wedded to, as we know now, the genetic aspect, and there's a connection. It's neither one or the other, it's both. And I hope that they take that away and that they learn what empathy is, and that gives them a sense of empathy. There's clearly a lack of empathy these days in the world. Maybe I'm just on the wrong side of things, but I'm seeing that a whole lot. Well, somewhere in there's an ending. There you go.